How you all doing? I was just about to pull my seat in. How you all doing, me muckers? Right then, welcome back to another midweek mumble. So, not been on for a few weeks because I had to get the iMac fixed. But now we're back. Let's start. So, as usual, a little disclaimer underneath there, which is this is an over 18 channel. So, if you am under the age of 18, you need to click off. There may possibly be swearing. And if you hear somebody snoring or barking because he's outside, it's the dog. So, let's kick things off and let's get people in. So, we went and seen this lad the other day up in Scotland. Who is Graham the Angus Whisperer. How you doing, Mucker?
I'm all right, mate. Yourself?
Yeah. All good. It
hasn't rained since you've been up here, by the way. It hasn't rained once.
don't say that.
It was 24 degrees on the way home from work.
Oh, mate. I'm good, honestly. That weekend, it would have been a great weekend, but it's just absolutely gutting. So,
I know.
And then the other lad who I only see on a yearly basis, which will be next month.
Oh yeah, true story. Yeah. Hello, Peaky.
Yeah.
Hello, Graham.
So
hi,
this is going to be we're all going to be streaming this, so this is going out on 3 different platforms. So if you two guys who see the comments coming at the side, if you see anything you want to talk about, then just bring them up, because I don't know whether I'll see all the comments as we're streaming them on different platforms. So I don't know if I'll see them or not, if I'm being brutally honest.
It's great to see you back again, Peaky.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Thank you.
You missed it, haven't you?
Honestly, and this is truthfully, I've messaged a couple of people and said they've had the Mac for about a month, and I've really missed editing. I didn't think I would, if I'm being brutally honest. The first week, 10 days, it was like kind of, oh, nice, But then you watch stuff on the telly, like lives or something like that. Then you've got to go on your phone to rewatch it, to comment, rather than I'll just sit here and write a comment. But I've actually, like I say, I've actually really missed having the iMac, doing the editing, doing the live streams and stuff like that. Honestly, I really
tell you what. Once this YouTube stuff gets in your veins, you've had it for you honestly have, haven't you? It just becomes a way of life, to be honest with you. You guys find that?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the editing part as well as the
filming,
getting the footage, if you like. So I enjoy it as well.
It's an art. I consider it an art form, to be honest with you. It feels like an art form. You're putting together something and building something, aren't you? And making a story, drawing a picture, and
it's that, like, for me, it's that little bit of community that I've gained over the last, and yesterday was the start of my 4th year. So I've been on YouTube 4 years.
Oh, really?
Today. So
get on.
Yeah, so I'm going to say thank you to all the subscribers who subscribed to me over the last 4 years. So it's been wicked. But it's gaining that little community of all us guys who are all quite similar from all different parts of the country, who would never usually be able to have a chat, talk, or be friends, basically.
Yeah. We never would have been. No, we never would have met, would we? Not in a million years.
No. And that's what I'm saying. Like, our text that many people now, like Graham, like Steve, on a weekly basis, daily basis, and we live completely opposite sides of the country.
Yeah,
Graham's 6 hours above me, and you 6 hours below me.
Yeah, I must be 9 hours from Graham then. That's about
I must be
amazing.
Yeah, you would have never ever got in this situation here where we're all having a chat like this.
Internet friends, that's what I call them.
Special friends, football friends.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it would have been in your days. Yeah,
it would have been. But what we're going to kick off with is I went to a place called the Baffle House down in Wales last weekend. If you've never been, you need to go. It is such a cool place to go. It was really good. They did a ride there. What's it called? The Summit Gentleman Ride, where they all wear suits. Distinguished Gentlemen. That's the one. So there was loads of them rocked up on like proper old school Nortons and stuff like that. Like, do you know what I mean? With these suits on, it just looked really cool. Really, like, it just really what's the word called? Like hipster, you know what I mean? They're more like young, not young blokes, but some young blokes, some old blokes, but it's like really hipster bikes and stuff like that. But
all in tweed,
yeah. All flat caps when they put them. Got the took the helmet off. I've got flat caps. So I was like, you're nicking me look here. You're nicking me look. But the conversation that we basically got onto whilst we was riding down there was there's a lad called Joe who was with me who come to Scotland. He's just bought an Africa Twin. But I said we was talking about confidence in riding and how you gain confidence in riding. And he was just saying that with the tyres that he'd brought with the bike, that he didn't have any confidence with them. He'd done a few rides, he'd had a few twitches, and he basically he'd lost his confidence. Then he come up to Scotland, met a lad in Scotland who's actually on the side chat, which is ADV, Buster ADV, who'd got the same tyres as him. And Buster was riding that like there was nothing wrong. So that kind of gives Joe that sense of, well, if he can ride with them like that in the wet, I can ride with them like that in the wet. And then, like I say, when we went out on Sunday, which was like when we was riding back, it was 27 degrees riding back. It was absolutely gorgeous. But he was just saying how his confidence have progressed with the tyres. Have you guys had that kind of event or had that coming up before in the past where you've disliked a tyre a little bit, but then over time you've kind of gained the confidence with the tyre?
You just got to, if you get a new set of tyres, a different set of tyres, you just got to slowly gain confidence in them, really, isn't it? I mean, is there really a bad tyre nowadays?
There isn't really, is there? It just depends how much you kind of push them, really. And what I find is that I can get confidence in a tyre, but as soon as I get a bit of a twitch, I just kind of think, where is that line before it's going to give way and not regain grip again?
Yeah.
So that's what I always find for me personally. I'm not particularly somebody that goes right over and leans anyway, But yeah, even on really good, like my Road 6s on my NC have just been superb for me. I just think they have been brilliant. And also city grips, which I've had on other bikes as well. Anything Michelin, really, I've always got on really well with. But some tyres I've had like, what did I have on the NC and before them? They were very dicey. I've had a couple, front wheel sort of skips. On roundabouts and things. So you go back and look at it, you think, well, what the hell? What was I skipping on? There's nothing there.
But it could be a wee tiny spot of diesel or anything that's happened on. Not necessarily the tyre.
Exactly. Yeah, well, exactly that. Yeah. But when I go back and I, go back the next day or whatever, you're kind of looking around for a bit of a shiny bit of diesel or something. There's nothing there. You think, hey, what's that all about?
Yeah. It's just mad. Like when we was talking, and I said to him, I says, you'll find, or I found, especially, when I did track days and, the little bit of racing that I did, you find to prefer a tyre make. And there's nothing in it at all because they're all the same compound tyres, the majority of them. But you kind of prefer a tyre. You kind of feel like you fit in with that tyre more than other tyres. And that there's not. You can stick any tyre on. If you took off the name at the side, you wouldn't know which tyre was which, really. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
But Picos Paul makes a good point there. On the NC, I had the Battle Axe BT 023s, and he's saying they're crap, and I pretty much agree with him, really. They were also noisy as well. Sometimes they're noisy on the front. Have you ever had that?
Yeah.
You hear them sort of whining when you're on the motorway and that. It was what a drone.
I get that when I've got like the 50/50 tyres on. So like now I've got the Trail Max Raids on. I get that with them tyres where when you like I'll find when I go to a more road based tyre that kind of goes. So but
and it does get annoying, doesn't it? You would have thought a little drone like that would get annoying, but when you're doing 100 miles in a day or something on the way back home, it gets a bit fatiguing.
Yeah. It's like Andy saying there about the Road 6s. Again, they're a road tyre, but they're probably the best road tyre at the moment by far. Because
apparently they're good on track as well. Would you agree with that? I mean, I know you haven't done track on them, but
I hadn't any track riding, but when I had them on my GS, they're warmed up very, very, very quick. You can warm them tires up within, I don't know, within 5 or 6 minutes.
Half a mile.
Yeah. And them to the point where you can get a bit of a lick on if you wanted to. But it's I think for the type of bike that we've got, me and Andy's got, and me and Joe's got, and me and Graham's got. So you want the look of the bike as well, to look the part as well, don't you? You don't.
Yeah, true.
Like you know what I mean. But it was just nice to kind of have that conversation.
So NC riders don't want that then? We're a certain breed. Are we all librarians or something? Or?
Yeah.
No, but no, you're right. On an ATV bike, you do want that, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You do want that kind of look, though. Yeah, do you know what I mean? You kind of want the expectation of a road tire, but the look of an off-road tire.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it was just nice to listen to like Joe coming from like almost like a sports bike onto this adventure bike and trying to explain himself how he's getting on with the tires, how he's getting on with the bike.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It was just quite nice to listen to him trying to explain why he's made the shift from like a sportier bike to this kind of off-roady bike.
Yeah.
And how he's gaining his confidence. And it was like, we were just talking. There was me, Joe, and Paul, excuse me. And Paul's a very experienced rider. So we was just talking and we were saying, this is how I've learned. This is what I've done. I've graduated the tire, so I've pushed it a little bit each time, and then found the limit where Paul was like, I'm just straight out and I'm on it straight from the bat.
So how do you find the limit then? Are you waiting for a skip?
Yeah. So you're waiting for a bit of a slide or something, especially from the back. You're waiting for a bit of a slide. So usually,
does that ever go too wrong? Or
it does a nice.
Yeah. We both know that, don't we?
Yeah. But yeah, it's you can feel. Oh well, I can feel when especially when the tire's gone off, when it's run the end of its course and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I kind of when I put a new tire on, and I'm probably done at least 600 or 700 miles on that tire before I feel confident enough that I can start progressing in my usual kind of riding style when I'm progressing.
I think it depends on the bike as well, because if you have like a GS or not a GS actually, let's say an Africa Twin where it's sat up quite high, you put that against like a CBR, a Fireblade or something, you feel more confident because you feel you're sort of over the front, don't you?
Yeah.
And that they tend to roll in a bit better and they seem a bit more solid, I find. But again, it's psychological. It's all psychological, really, isn't it?
Well, what you've got to realise, though, is on a sports bike, you're leaning forward, so the feel of that front end, you're feeling a lot more than when you're sat up and you're just sat like
you're
that.
Feeling over it, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're feeling like you're putting pressure on
every bump, every jolt. Do you know what I mean? Where you sat on a like an adventure bike or something like that, you actually almost sat upright and your arms are relaxed and your hands are just nice and relaxed on top of the bars, where on a sports bike you're over the front, so all the tension's on your shoulders and your hip. So as soon as you hit anything, you're like almost like a vibration board, so your body can feel absolutely everything because you're almost level.
But I find that you almost feel more part of the bike as well because of that reason.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like I'll do it now sometimes if I'm having a play. My knees go in, my elbows go in. I'm behind the screen. I'm leaning on the tank. Do you know what I mean? You're just moving your body. Where when riding a big GS, really, what you want to be doing is kind of sat there moving the bike, not moving your body like this. Like, do you know what I mean? You want to be moving the bike, but it's you old habits die hard. But you kind of feel a lot more through the tires in that type of bike than you should do on a GS or an adventure bike.
Yes.
But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, but Pecos Paul, I think them are the tires that was on it. The Metzler Kangaroos or Karoo, sorry.
Karoo, yeah.
Karoo.
Yeah, I never. To be honest, I've ridden a few bikes with them on now, and I haven't really minded it. But then again, I don't really push the bikes anyway. But
yeah,
but they're kind of they're not even 50/50s really. But they've got the big block, the central block in the middle, that go around.
are them like are they called STRs?
I think it's similar to the STRs. No, I don't think they're STRs.
Jay,
I know.
Jay Crazy Legs on a bike has got the STR tires, and he's got like two, like a block in the middle kind of thing. So he's got like a block like that in the middle.
Yeah,
going around the tire.
Yeah, exactly. What? Yeah, no, maybe it's STRs
blocks.
then.
Yeah, then he's got like little blocks around the outside almost.
Yes.
So the contact patch is probably one contact patch, but then when you go off road, they're probably wide enough that they can grip.
Yeah, they grip that way, but not really on. But slidey left to right, it is less grip on them because they're not. Yeah.
Well, they're different compound as well, because obviously it's a stub, so that to get that stub warm all the way through, it's gonna take a lot. And obviously because of the gaps in them, there's going to be a lot of air in between them, so it's not the contact patch on the road is though it's still going to be a contact patch, but there's going to be air in them. So that's why you race with slicks. So there's
what have you got, Graham, on yours?
Just the ones that came with it. I think it's Badlax A41. I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I don't have any issues with them. I mean, I'm not a fast rider, but they seem to be fine.
Do the job.
6,000 miles I've done on them now. So.
Okay.
They'll be due for a change this year sometime, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many miles do you guys do before you start riding? If you have a new set of tyres on, how many miles do you do before you start riding normally? Before you think they're scrubbed in, what do you guys do?
I tend to drive quite easy until the first service, if it's a brand new bike. So what you're talking, 600 miles?
I say about 50 miles, to be honest, for me. If I've had a new tyre changed. And when I'm doing that, I'm using all of what I can within my limits. Yeah. When I go around the corner, I'm kind of upright, but letting the bike go over just to scrub it in a bit.
Yeah. But it's like Andy's saying there, probably on a road tyre, you could probably do 60, 70 mile, 100 mile.
Yeah, definitely.
Where I'll ride. Obviously, I'll do a lot of miles, but I usually ride a good 300 mile before I start getting. I know then most of the tyre, the front and the back, most of the tyre has been on a contact patch then at some point throughout that 500 mile, and then at 500 mile, then I'll kind of ride normally. I ride normally anyway, but it's a little bit more conservative. Rather than getting a lick on and chasing R6s or R1s.
I'm sure we've all seen it before when people pull out their bikes, their brand new bikes from the showroom, and they hook around the corner and off they come, and smash up their new bike.
Yep,
that's gutting, isn't it?
Yeah,
embarrassing as well.
Yeah, there's a few of them videos on YouTube out there where they pull out the garage. brand new bike, brand new tires. I'm like, oh mate, come on, switch on.
Yeah,
but yeah. But yeah,
and even worse when they're on the scrambling bike or something, they give it to their dad and they're like, "Yeah, I've done this years ago. I've done it for years." And up they go and off they are, like terrible.
Yeah, it is funny that way. When they do it, you shouldn't laugh really, but it is funny.
It is.
Yeah, what I mean. But yeah, man. But like I say, that's all I do. I'm quite reserved for about 500 miles, and then at least 90%.
500 miles.
Yeah, about 500 miles I do. And then you've got it in all types of weather then as well. So you've ridden in all types of weather. You've not just scrubbed it in a hot day.
No, it's true.
Kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I could do 500 miles in a month and ride conservatively in a month.
Yeah, I have heard before. I don't know where I saw it. It might have been as a YouTube video somewhere, but you obviously it comes with like a waxy sort of finish, doesn't it? When they first get the tires done, the silica, is it whatever it's called? But if you get like a washing up bow and put washing up liquid in it, you can scrub off all the wax and that. I mean, to be honest, that's going to happen anyway, isn't it? If you're on the road anyway, so I don't really see much point in that. But
yeah, like I say, you I can actually feel when the tire's gone off now, but it's one of them.
Yeah. I kind of know what you mean with that. Yeah, I feel like I do myself, but
you can like for me, especially having the off-road tires, it kind of feels like now the back tire, you can feel it dropping in a lot quicker because it's just leveled off at the back. It's like almost squared off, and then at the front, it happens at the front, but obviously it's a slower, it's a slower cycle. But yeah, then at the front, what I find is when I tip in, it starts to get really vague when I'm tipping in. It kind of feels like I'm drifting, and then I'm like, right, they need to be changed. 99% of the time they do need to be changed, but yeah, it's
it's almost like a sixth sense thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think this is through time as well. It's also riding throughout the years. It's experience now. When the tire's gone, rather than pushing a tire. Just like we did do before, like what I've done in the past, where you just keep riding. You go, I don't know what's up with this. I don't know what, and then you change your tires. You're like, Jesus, it was my tires. You know what I mean? And then you might have rid another 1,000 miles on that tire, not knowing that the tire's gone off.
No, that's very true. Yeah, you get used to it, don't you? Yeah.
And like I say, it's just
I sometimes think. I mean, I started riding on the road at least when I was 28, and I sometimes think that I could have been quite a good rider when I was younger because you have less fear, and I almost need to tap into that side of it, which is why I've always said a track day would probably do me a lot of good, because I think I could break some sort of barriers that I've got. But at the same time, I'm at the age I don't want to push it because I don't bounce very well now. So, but I think the younger you can start riding, the better, really. To get through all that, really.
Yeah,
I remember when I was a kid and I used to lean a bike right over, and me and a friend of mine, we just kept on leaning it until we actually fell off. Whereas now it's just we wouldn't,
Yeah, you wouldn't do it.
No,
it's funny. It's funny you should say that. When I first passed my test, that was my late 30s, if you like. Done it for a few years, then I had the brain problem, so I chucked it for 13 years, and I came back to it, but I don't have the confidence I had in my 30s.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because I was younger or. But
it's just life, eh? You've got like now, like I do. You look at a lot more of the risk factor now. I do. Do you know what I mean? I wish I could come up to Scotland 20 years ago on a sports bike and go and have a play now. You know what I mean? Where now I come up and I do ride quite reserved, quite conservative. Graham.
That
really, don't believe that.
That video I done of the Scottsburg ring, you'd love that road. Oh, it's amazing.
I've watched it a few times now. And you're just like, I need to come back up. I need to come back up and have a weekend just doing that road. Just that's it. Just going up and down that road.
But another massive factor in what we're talking about there is reaction times as well. We're not as quick now, are we? You have to think about it to actually do it. Well, you're not reactive like you are when you're young.
Yeah,
100%.
Things I used to do in the car. There's a place in Exeter called the Twisted Oak, and I drove down there a little while ago with my kids, and I said to them, I used to handbrake turn around that tree, but it's on an angle, and it's really funny. I can't explain it, but how I got around that tree, handbrake turned around it. I used to do it every night. It's outside somebody's house as well, so they didn't like that.
Yeah, just knock your wall down, mate, so I can go around it.
Yes, yeah. But there's no way I could do it now. In country lanes and that as well. I used to spin them around and do a 180, and I just can't do it now.
Yeah,
I don't want to anyway, but that's right. Yeah,
it is right though. Like even like myself, do you know what I mean? When I'm riding and I'm progressing on, there's still sometimes like when me and Graham we was all going to on the Sunday, we was all going to this cafe, and Graham is in front. And he's pulled in front of this wagon, and I've tipped in. The back end's had a slide, and then I've gone like, oh. You know what I mean? I've like, oh my god! And we pulled in, and then my head had gone. Then I was like, literally that one moment, my confidence had gone, and I just literally sat there behind Graham, and I'm thinking to Graham, you need to slow down here, mate. Do you know what I mean? We're doing 56 here, mate, and it's raining. We need to slow down. You know what I mean? But then, we pulled in this cafe, and the two bike coppers come in there. It was absolutely smashing down. It was. And these two bike coppers.
It's a shame, that. Such a shame.
It is because you kind of cheers, Rev. See you later. It is because it was frustrating because on the Friday we headed up. It was absolutely stunning, 22 degrees. You know, we got into the Lake Districts. Everyone's we pulled into the Morrisons in there. You know, you're taking your t-shirt off and your underlining clothes and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Packing them all away, changing your gloves. I mean, you know, your winter gloves to your summer gloves and all this lot. And then we get up there and it was that Saturday morning we got up and I was like, looks a bit shit. That was Sunday. We got up, mate. It looked like it. Honestly, I thought somebody stood above my window with a pressure washer. It was coming down that hard. I was thinking, but then you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of the guys' day come out on that Sunday, which is obviously it's their decision. But I'm up there, so I'm like, you know, even in the rain, I'm going to go for a ride. We don't even actually go that far, if I'm being honest. I think it was 5.5 hours.
It was probably half of the ride that was planned for the day. It was only about half we done because we kind of stopped at Inverary and headed back. So
yeah.
The thing is, it's such a. Sorry, Graham.
No, on you go.
No, all I was going to say is that it's so gutting if you've got a full-time job and you've got 28 days holiday or whatever, and then you're taking a chunk out of that, and it's absolutely pissing down. And when you could be at home, maybe with the family, you could use that as family time, but you still want that time with the boys, don't you? Out on your bikes, out playing. It's just an absolute gutter. So although I would imagine I would have carried on and done it, it is still a long way up in the pissing rain before you get to the good bits. You know, so it is gutting. I mean, it's just gutting.
For the road riding, it was a little bit frustrating, but then it was good because we got up. We all met up different nights. We've all had a beer. We've all had food together. We've seen each other again. We've had a laugh. We've met some new friends, met some old friends, and I mean, it is about riding the motorbikes. But then when you get up there, it's just
social,
just as much a social side as it is anything else. So, like I say, it was just nice just to sit there of an afternoon, especially on that Sunday because it was absolutely smashing down. So we got back probably about 2:00. And you know, you're manging your clothes up, trying to get them dry for the following day, and all the rest of it. But we ended up sitting downstairs in the pub, had a few beers, had a Sunday dinner, watched the football, and then, like I say, we headed off first thing on Monday morning. But it's just one of them. It is what it is. You know, you can't book the sun, you can't book the weather, can you? You know, look at this Richie Vida's one that he did a couple of weeks ago in Spain, and he hammered it down all weekend in Spain. You know what I mean?
It's even better on the Sunday if you get your breakfast and don't pay for it as well, doesn't it?
Oh, what happened here then? Hey,
I'll let Graham tell that story.
No, in fairness, I think the woman thought I paid it, but I didn't. I only paid for mine.
Sounds like a Scottish bloke here, doesn't it? Eh?
No,
only paid for mine. It's my round. Oh, I gotta go.
I gotta get to the toilet.
Just going.
But she never asked for it, did she?
Well, you ordered mine, didn't you? Because I asked and she just looked at me like I fell from the stars. So I said to Graham, "Can you get me a sausage sandwich?" And he was like, "Yeah." So he said 2 sausage sandwiches and 2 coffees. So she was like, "Okay, sound." And then Graham paid. And then she went, "Oh, here's the 2 sausage sandwiches and here the 2 brews." So I picked my sausage sandwich up with my brew, walked off when I put some red sauce on, sorted my brew out, ate it, walked out. And it was always riding back, and I was like, "Oh, you know, cheers, Graham. Thanks for buying me breakfast, blah, blah, blah." And he went, "I bought you breakfast." I was like, "What you on about?" And he was like, "I don't pay for it." I went, "You did?" I went, "You went, I day?" I said, "Well, I don't pay for it. I just ate it and walked out."
Unless I suppose maybe I did. I didn't look at the price of it. I just paid for it, so maybe it was.
It was yeah, it was that, you know, that just moment of, well, she must have been looking at me going, "He's at that and drank his brew and he just walked out." He just walked out, or she's felt that sorry for me. she's felt that sorry for me. She's gone. He's absolutely piss wet for his. I'm just gonna let him have some hot food. but yeah, it was still a good. It was still a good ride.
It is still good, yeah. I mean, it was a bit miserable weather, but it's still good. It would have been good to do that second off-road section.
Yeah.
Over the hills to Loch. But
yeah. But saying that, like we went on that first off-road section, and it was so sketchy. I got off-road tires, mate, and it was slipping and sliding all over the shop, and I was just like, in the end, I ended up like, because I was looking at other people rather than looking at what I should be doing. I was watching other people, and you could see them all like, giving like, you know, like, panicking, and I thought
I could feel my tires going.
I need to pull over, and I need to just let them go, and I need to just ride on my own
in your own time.
Yeah, because I was, like I say, I was just watching everybody else, and then like you get target fixation, and you're looking at a rock that you don't want to hit, and you're just like, I'm going to hit it, I'm going to hit it, I'm going to hit it.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, so I'll just let them carry on, and then a couple of cars was coming up behind me, so I let them carry on, and then I just basically sat at the back and kind of did my own thing. But
am I right in saying it's not so enjoyable on a big 1250 GS if you're thinking that all the time, though, is it?
No.
I don't enjoy it. And I when I went on the 1300 off road at the ABR, it was I didn't really enjoy it because it's a friggin' lumpy bike, and it was, you know, a track I didn't understand. The tires were only at about 10 psi, so I had all these things friggin' flashing off, and because I'm not a BMW person, I don't know how to turn it off. You know, all this blibs and blobs were going on. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy it because it just felt such a blooming lump.
It is. It really is. And like I had a talk to Buster after it, because he's got an Africa twin as well. I was saying to him, if you've got that skill set where you can ride that bike competently off road, it's probably a really good bike off road.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? If you like, for example, like Pete English or Adam Reedman, someone like that, or like a lad who's been on here, Dave Ashpole, they've rid off road all their life, so they can handle it. I'm going to stop there because he's snoring his head off. So if anybody can hear the snoring, it's the dog. But but you know, if I'm riding more off road than on road, then they could jump on that bike and think to themselves, this is wicked, this is ace. It's a big lump, but you've got the power, and because the engine's so low down, you know what I mean, you can kind of move the back end.
You can bounce off of it, can't you? Yeah.
But like I say, you know, for me as a complete novice off-roading, it's too big, it's too heavy, it's a little bit overwhelming taking it off-road. You know, like I say, I'm actually, now that 450's gone, I've sold the 450, so that's gone now. I'm actually looking at the I've gone back, and I think I'm going to get a Vogue 300, because I bought that 450 thinking that it was going to be a cheap, easy fix for myself and something to learn.
Bit of bad luck, mate.
Yeah, but then when I got the bike and I started digging into it, you know, and it's one of them. I don't have the right tools. I hadn't got the knowledge about carbs and about that kind of bike and nothing like that. And if I'm being brutally honest, I just kind of got to a point where I was just like, I ain't interested no more in the bike at all. I just ain't interested in it. And I kind of lost the love to even start doing off-road. But now it's gone and I'm started looking again. The interest is back now.
Yeah, so, that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what I mean?
The what was I going to say then? Oh, it's bloody gone now. Oh, sorry, mate, it's gone. I'm doing that a lot recently with this new job. I got so much to think about. Things go in, and it doesn't come out me goblet, and then I've forgotten. So anyway, carry on.
But no, you know, it is a big heavy lump. But that's one of the reasons why I'm looking now at something like a 300, because it's nice and light. It's nimble. It's easy to pick up. And that's the main thing. You know, when I did that off-roading with the Ferret Rides on YouTube. So when I did that off-roading with him, after the third or fourth time of picking that bike up, you get sick of picking that bike up pretty quick because it's that heavy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of, you kind of lose the I fell off again. You know what I mean? Pretty quick when you're picking it up all the time. So
I know what I was going to say now. I was going to say I'm okay with anything mechanical going wrong on bikes to a level. I'm not, not that good, but I'm pretty good, to be fair. But anything fueling or anything like that, or air mixtures and stuff like that, forget it. Absolutely does my head in. Never got on with that. And that's the problem you had, isn't it?
It's a dark art, that adjusting carburetors and things.
Yeah.
Mate, honestly, and this is again, I sent this carb off to be done professionally, right? So they got back to me within, I don't know, 2 days. Says we've took the carb apart. There's a valve thing underneath it where it adjusts the air and mixture filter.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So they've took when your carb gets in, they send you like a video of them stripping the carb, and there was there's not even a fuel and air mixture screw in there. There's not one in there at all. So I was like, oh man, that's probably half the reason why the car's playing up. Do you know what I mean? Then I got the carb that says, oh, it needs all new inners, all the rubbers need doing, everything. It needs a whole new rebuild, cleaned and rebuild. So I was like, okay, then sound. Kind of half expecting that to be the major problem, if I'm being brutally honest. Then the carb come back, and there was right, we've set the carb up for the bike. It's 2.5 turns out. So all you've got to do is fit it, put the pipes on, put the fuel on. It should start swear as a nut. Absolute nightmare from putting the carb on to trying to start it to, and like I say, it just got to the point where I just left it. I stood the bike up and I just left it. I was just like, I cannot be bothered with this anymore.
No.
Because then a friend of a friend's mate come round who's a mechanic, and he was like, let me have a look at the engine. When was the engine last rebuilt? And I was like, I got a clue. And then he had a look, and he was like, engine needs a rebuild. The piston rings are burnt. The valve clearances need doing. This, and then he starts going on about the suspension and stuff like that. When was this last done? When was that last service? I'm like, I don't know, mate. I ain't got a clue. I've just bought the bike, kind of thing. There's no history on it. And then he had a look at it, and he was like, it's going to cost you about 1,100 quid, 1,200 quid to get sorted. And I was like, mate, I can buy one. I can ride tomorrow for the money I paid for this and the 1,200 quid. I can have one working that I ain't got to worry about. And I ain't got to just that stuff. Like there was a break in the electric start. So it wouldn't start every time. It would only start intermittently. It almost like the starter motor had to be in a particular position.
Oh right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just daft stuff like that. And when it was starting, it was sound. But as soon as it stopped, as soon as you put the choke in, it had cut out. You're just like, right, I'm done. I've had enough.
Yeah.
So I put it off. I was honest, and I put it off for sale. And I was like, these are the problems. And
that's somebody else's problem. Yeah.
At
the end of the day, mate, it was a risk. You knew it's a risk. You bought it. You thought it would be all right. And anyone can make that mistake. It was just bad luck that it was just too much. It was too far gone, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think for me, my knowledge of carbs, I've never had a bike with carbs, never.
No.
So when I looked at, he was like, yeah, we'll just do the carbs, and I was like, yeah, sound. Don't even think about. I had no concern because I was like, yeah, I'll just watch a YouTube video and change the carb. It can't be that difficult. Do you know what I mean? And then there was one about balancing it, setting it all up, getting the air and fuel mixture right, doing this, doing that. Then and then it got a little bit like, right, I don't know about this, and I've not got some of the tools small enough, like some of the little Allen keys to get into.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
I haven't got an Allen key that small to get into it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So in the end, I was just like, you know what? So I put it on Facebook and eBay and everything. A bloke's come from Romania, bought the bike. We had a good chat, and I was on. Like I was honest with him. I just said, it needs this doing, needs that doing, needs this doing. We agreed a price, and he says, I'll have the bike, and I was like, so no problem. He says, so this will now get shipped off to Romania, and I was like, all right, what where comes going out there? And he says, so he's actually at the moment building a off-road school. So you fly out on the Thursday, and then you have they pick you up. They sort all the hotel out, all your food, everything. They pick you up at the airport on the Thursday. You get back to their kind of accommodation. Pardon me. Like get back to their accommodation. Then you have all day Friday on like really easy trails. Just learning the bikes. You have one bike for the weekend. That's your bike. They have really easy trails on the Friday. Saturday's a little bit more gnarly. Sunday it's up to you. You can either do the easy trails or the hard trails, but they kind of let you go out on your own on the Sunday and say, kind of fill your boots. That whatever you want to do, you can go and do. So there's like 3 or 4 different instructors go with different people, but it was all right,
like
man.
What Brandon Proskett does, isn't it?
Yeah,
that sort of thing. A lot of people are doing that now, and I think more and more people are going to be doing it over the years. I think it's a brilliant idea. What a great idea, to go on holiday with your mates on a biking holiday in the sun, guaranteed swimming pool beer. Flipping heck, that's heaven, isn't it?
Yeah. Honestly,
I met the ABR actually. He's a decent bloke as well.
Yeah. Like I say, mate, there's that many facilities now out there that you can go and do off-roading and kind of adventure riding. Because you can even go on like 2 weeks adventure riding. You can even book on stuff and say, right, what do you want to do? I want to go to Norway for 2 weeks. Sound we can accommodate that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So you can still do the adventure riding without sitting there planning the adventure. All that stuff. Yeah, you just fly out, kind of thing. It's like an easy.
I think that's
option.
what I would want to do, to be honest. Yeah, I think I would prefer that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be sat around mapping things out, and that's not really me.
I don't know.
Turn up and go.
I do quite like sitting, like especially on tours, looking at different points and stuff like that, stop off points and viewpoints and stuff like that. So that kind of planning side of it, I quite enjoy. Do you know what I mean? But again, this also appeals to me where you can just sod off, fly, land, and it's somebody else's bag. Yeah, got to worry about anything. If something goes wrong, then it's their fault.
Yeah, and also they know where to go as well. They'll set you up with your GPS or whatever, and off you go.
Yeah,
It's a bit like you're not Graham's area, and he knows where to go. I'd go to the wrong places.
Yeah, and it's like Paul, who on Sunday he went the beginning of this year with that is it Canary motorcycle?
Oh yeah.
He did that this year, and he was like, "That was brilliant." He says it was absolutely. He goes, for the money you pay, it's absolutely brilliant. He says,
I'd love that.
I'd go back again, but I'd want to go back with his mates. He says because he was with he basically paid into a group, and he got there and he didn't know anybody in the group, so he had to make friends in the group. He says, but if you could get like 9 or 10 lads all to chip in and book it as a one, like you and 9 mates to book it and get over there, he went, you'd have a right laugh. He says, because I'm proper good people. He goes,
I really would.
Yeah, well, that's what he said. He goes, it's just, he found 2 lads there that was the same age, the same kind of riding style, the same kind of off-road level, and they all stuck together then. And like they give them these GPXs, and it's like you're only riding for probably an hour 40, an hour 50 maximum before you're stopping and having a brew. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like, you're having kind of 2 or 3 brews of a morning, stopping for your dinner, probably 2 brews of an afternoon, and then you're getting back about 5 o'clock, having a shower, and then they're going out for evening meal and a few drinks and this, that, and the other. He says it's how they've kind of scheduled it. It all rolls and it's really well like scheduled, which is kind of what you want. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you're paying for, really. It's the convenience of allowing yourself that somebody else's bag. I'm just going along to enjoy myself.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
The last 9 months or so, about 9 months, I've been having this. I've never had this before, but I get a bit of a yearning to actually want to ride further because I haven't done any big trips like you have. But I actually want to do it, and it's just ironic that I've got this job now and I can't. I've got even less chance to do it and less finances to do it as well. So, but it's quite frustrating. I'm fine.
I don't know, mate. I think, like, I know what you're saying about finances, but you can do it as cheap as what you want to do it. You know what I mean. You ain't got to stop in a hotel. You can camp. You can even go to B&Bs. You can even do like we did when we went to Austria. We stopped in what they're called,
brothels. No, sorry. Carry on. Sorry, mate.
It's all it is like a bed, and you share.
Yeah.
You share the room with 6 or 7
hostel
people.
sort of thing, is it?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
we stopped in a couple of hostels, and it was sound. It was perfect. The 2 that we stopped in, we all had our own individual rooms and brothels.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at Todd leaving a couple of funny faces.
Yeah. But yeah, we stopped in a couple of hostels. I mean, he said brothels, hostels.
Yeah.
And there was sound. There was sound. A bed. It was warm. You could dry your kit. It was locked. It was clean. It was tidy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like minging. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them. But you kind of you can do it a lot cheaper than.
No, I get that, mate.
In a nice
I think
5-star or 4-star hotel.
Yeah, I mean, my lot are going over to Ireland, the WhatsApp group that I'm in. And last year, I said, I'm definitely in this. It's going to happen this year. But obviously, all the crap that's gone on for me this year, it just can't do it now. And I'm just gutted because they're going, and and you kind of think, I'd love to do that. And it's what it is anyway. I'll get my chance again anyway. But I'm going ABR as well, so that's an adventure. So,
well, that's an adventure, mate.
Yeah.
Meeting me drunk. That's an adventure.
Yeah. How are you getting on with the drinking, by the way, Brian? Are you back on it again, or?
I am, yeah, but it's took a massive backseat now.
Okay.
Like tonight, I've had a shandy.
Yeah.
One shandy. That's all I'll have tonight.
Okay.
And like I try and kind of put it to like a night now rather than
that's good.
most nights. So.
And
I'll
do you enjoy having a shandy as much as what you did as having 10 beers or whatever?
I think what it did was it now it's allowed me to kind of take back a little bit of control of how much I was drinking previously. Like so now I've done the 100 days. It doesn't. I don't feel like I need a drink. Like before, I'd leave work and I'd be like, gagging for a beer. Do you know what I mean? I'd be out on the bikes and I'd like. I'll have a pint. Do you know what I mean? Whilst we're out somewhere, I'll have one, and that'll be all right. And then you get home, and then instead of buying 4, you'll buy 8. You know what I mean? Oh, because I don't want to go back to the shop once I've drunk before, so I might as well just buy 8. Like almost convincing yourself that you've got to drink 8. You will drink 8, but if you only had 4, you'd only drink 4. But yeah,
hats off to you, mate. It's because it can be a slippery road. I've had a couple of times in my life when I was younger, and I was out 3 or 4 times a week, and I kind of think, waking up and you think, I want a beer, it's a long time ago now, but and that's when you kind of think, hang on a minute, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was out last night, so getting home at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then you're up at 7 for work, sort of thing. So
but, like I say, it was just like for me, it was just. It probably was completely out of hand. But I realised it was out of hand. There was an old saying in the army: "You work hard, you play hard." But I wasn't in the army anymore, and I was just working normally, but playing as hard as I did when I was in the army. So I was just drinking like a lunatic all the time. Where now, I've lost a bit of weight, cleared my head, so I kind of feel like I've got like a little bit of control over it now, rather than before. Like I say, I'd be gagging for the beer constantly. As soon as like 2-3 o'clock come, I'll be like, I can have a beer.
For us slotters, and I know I can speak for people on the side, but for us slotters friends, it's nice to see as well.
Yeah. Like I say, when I went up to Scotland, do you know what I mean? I'd have 4 or 5, 6 pints, and then that was it. Where before I'd sit here and I'd sit there and I'd start drinking, and then they'd go, it's last ordered, so I'd buy like. I'd buy 2 Guinnesses, and then I'd buy like 2 shorts because the bar was closing. Where now I was like, it's 11 o'clock. I've had 6 pints. I'm all right. I feel like I've had a drink, so I'm going to go to bed. I'm all right.
Slightly off topic a bit. I find it annoying now when I don't know what it's like up your end. We're in different places, different parts of the world, but when you go to a pub, have some food with your friends or whatever. Or misses or whatever, and then they're like closing the doors at like 10, half 10. You kind of think, hang on a minute, it used to be like half 11, didn't it? They used to close, and now they're like half 10. They're like, that's it, you have to go now. It's like flipping heck. When we just started having a good chat.
Yeah. I mean, like in Scotland, that they shut the bar at half 10 on the Sunday, so But that they'd come round and say, right, we're shutting the bar. It's not actually closing. We're shutting the bar at 10:30, but the doors are actually shutting till 11 o'clock. So you know, you kind of you did have that extra half an hour, but like I say, I was at the point where, like I say, I just kind of feel like I'm in a little bit more control now over the beer rather than the beer controlling me now. You know what I mean? I could sit and drink, 15, easily 15, 16, 17 points easily. And like I did do at the IBR, just drinking all day and drinking at the same pace. That's the difference. Drinking at the same pace all day long, you know. And
you didn't notice it, did we, Graham?
I was about to see that. We'll see how he gets on this year at ABR.
Mate, honestly, I honestly, it was just one of them. I don't know how I did it, if I'm being brutally honest. But yeah, it's just nice to have a bit of clarity over things now as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Saying not kind of fancying a beer all the time, but and not waking up with a fuzzy head as well. Do you know what I mean? And that's the other thing. You know what I mean? Even though I don't really get hangovers, but you still get up like a bit like.
Yeah,
right, I need to get up.
You had a few the night before.
Yeah, I need to get up. I need to have a shower. I need to brush my teeth. Where like now you can just get up and you're more right. Do you know what I
mean? You feel bright as a daisy, don't you?
Yeah. You feel like you could crack on with the day. So, Norfolk Masters, I have a question for the panel. If you ride a GS, do you, I'll take it, nod at other riders or lesser branded machines? No. So my rule is, if you nod at me, I'll nod back to you. If you don't nod at me, then I won't nod back to you. That's
you're a second nodder. All right, I'm a fan. I'm a nod. I'm a waver.
So if I get a wave, I'll wave back. If I get a wave, I'll wave back. If I get a nod, I'll get a nod back. If I get a 2-finger dab, they'll have a 2-finger dab back. Not an issue. But like I say, a lot of the time, I've done an actual video on this. A lot of the time, you don't get. A lot of riders, and like they always say it's GS riders. It probably is, but I see a lot of other machines, like people who ride Harleys, they don't nod at all. Do you know what I mean?
No, what's that all about?
A lot of the sport bike riders, a lot of the lads, or the younger generation on sports bikes, they don't nod. Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether this is just like something that's kind of you don't do anymore. Is this a generation thing?
I'm absolutely against not nodding. It frustrates me when people don't. I'm one of those that you'll be sat at the lights and then I'll roll up beside you and say, "Oh, how are you today?" You know, one of them sort of people. Like, but I think everybody should nod. I'm always, waving or whatever, and scooters, whatever,
scooters and everything. Yeah.
Like I say, I do nod, but. Like I have done in the past, where I've just nodded to people. Do you know what I mean? But now I'll wait. I'll wait to be nodded at, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? That sounds a bit wrong, though. I'll wait to be nodded at.
Sorry, I'm just laughing actually, because sometimes it's when you don't see the bike and you think, oh, there's a bike, and they nod, and then you haven't nodded back, and you think, oh no, I'm not one of them. No, I would have.
Steve is turning around. I did nod. You just stay seeing me, mate.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Chasing people.
Yeah, chasing people just to nod at them. But yeah. But that's just me, because like I say, I've had it before where you do nod to everybody, and then the difference is, though, you get to some places where, like when you go to Europe and stuff like that, there's that many bikers in some places, you can't nod to them all. You can't nod to everybody. Do you know what I mean? So I might, if there's a gang of 16 riders coming up, I ain't gonna ride to every single rider. Do you know what I mean? I'll ride to the people who nod to me.
Here's the thing: if you're going along the road, right, and you see a group of bikes, maybe a dozen of them, 14 of them, do you nod to the first one, or do you nod the first one, the last one, or the one in the middle and the end? Or you don't have to
go like that. Yeah,
like a Weebles wobble.
What, Churchill, wasn't it? Yeah. No. I go like that, and then halfway through, I change it to that, like that.
Right.
That's what I do, all the way through.
See, I can't do that because my X4, if I do that, it stops recording.
Why do you want to record that bit anyway?
Yeah. But yeah, I must admit that's like if there's a group, then if the first one nods at me, then I'll nod back. I'll only nod to people who nod at me, and that's just that the
nodding does get a bit boring, and your helmet can get quite heavy as well, can't it? When you're doing that all the time, so that's why I prefer to do that. I just go, whatever. But
yeah, so me and John actually went to the Buffalo House on Sunday, but I missed each other by about half an hour.
What is this thing? Is it a pub or is it a cafe?
It's just it's just a cafe, just a biker cafe. But they've got you'd have to wait till the video Friday comes out. But but there's it's just a really cool like cafe, and it's got all clothing in there, and they're all bikes on the walls and bikes on the bikes on the floor and stuff like that. It's just really, really cool, mate. It's just it's one of those places where you've got to go. You know what I mean? You've got to go and see it.
Yeah, considering the economy's going down, these bike shops seem to be going strong, don't they? There still seem to be new ones opening up. That's good.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of new cafes opening, a lot of new biker cafes opening lately. That's what I can see from stuff on the on Facebook and stuff like that. So which is good. It's nice to know that the bikers are still going for the economy. The bikers are still going strong. They're still going to the cafes.
Yes,
they're still spending the money. Do you know what I mean? It's like when we got there, and fair play to Paul, he's bought the breakfast for us, but it was like $9.50 with the brew for the breakfast, and I was like, you know what? I was actually expecting, looking at the calf, I was expecting like 12, 13, 15 quid, and he come back and he was like, that's only $9.50. And the breakfast was a bit decent breakfast. It was like you get 4 beans, half an egg. You know what I mean? It was a decent breakfast. So, and it was a proper cup of coffee as well. It was like a shot of nothing. It was a proper cup of coffee. So, I was, even though I pay, I was pleasantly surprised for the cost of the breakfast compared to what where you're sitting, because all the front opens up, man. It's so cool. It's so you'll have to watch the video on Friday. It's so cool, mate. You know what I mean? Proper down with the kids in there, but it's really, really nice in there.
And it's Wales, was it you said?
Yeah. Pontypool in Wales. But
where's that? Up top, middle, bottom?
Nah, it's like South Wales, just above a bit further up from Cardiff.
Oh, right, not that far from me then, really.
No. Probably about 3 hours for you if you went over the bridge. Yeah. But yeah, it was just really. It's like I've seen a few photos of other people have put on, and say they've got a wall of bikes, and you're just I've got to go there. I've got to go and have a look. I've got to go and see it for myself, kind of thing. If it looks that cool, everything else is dead expensive. I bought a cap, 35 quid for a cap.
Bloody hell!
But I was like, I'm here now, so I've got to buy something because I'm here. I want to, I wear caps a lot, though. So I was like, I'm gonna wear a cap. I ain't got it down here; it's upstairs. But I was like, I'm gonna buy a cap from there, and it was just really nice. It was just nice. It was just, and there was loads and loads of bikes there, but there was all different bikes. It was just sports bikes or Harleys or off-road mix, anything. Yeah. Everybody. There's loads of bikes there.
Proper mix with no click. Yeah, because we got a couple clicky places down here, which frustrates me. It starts out non-clicky and then it becomes clicky. That's a shame.
Yeah, but that's what it was. You'd see people just walking over to people and start a conversation about the bikes. It was really cool. You know what I mean? It was just a nice place to be.
Nice vibe.
Nice. Everybody was there because they rid a bike, and people going up to other bikers. Oh, I like this. I like the way you've done that, and you know what I mean. And then all of a sudden, them talking about something completely different. But it was just really, really cool. I had a couple of people.
That's nice, mate.
The only thing I'd say is, so when I was sat there, somebody went round with a GoPro, recording, and they pulled him to one side and they said something to him, and then he must have deleted it. And I was like, oh God, obviously you can't film in here. Do you know what I mean? So I went up and spoke to the manager, and I was like, I do YouTube. Is there any chance I could do a bit of filming? He was like, yeah, mate, no problem. Now you've asked, it's not a problem. He says, we don't want it kind of. We've had it in the past where people have been putting stickers out, banners out, flags, and all the rest of it. He says, so anybody who don't ask, we ask them to delete the footage. And I was like, "Oh, right, okay." So and he says, "But now you've asked, are you problem? You fill your boots." He says, if you want, if you want a section emptied, like the clothing section, I was like, "Not really, no." I says, I want it to be normal. I don't, I don't want it to be sterile. I want it to be a normal day with normal people talking, walking, doing their own general shit. So, and he was just like, "Yeah, cool, all right then, sound," and that was it then. Do you know what I mean? But I was quite shocked that he pulled that bloke to one side, and he was like, "Yeah, can you?" Well, he must have deleted the footage. I don't know what he said to him, but he pulled him to one side. That's the only reason why I asked.
It's probably a relevant concern that if you own a biker calf, what you don't want is for a certain community to make it theirs, and then other people feel uncomfortable going there, because that does happen quite. What's happened a little bit down here, I think. So yeah, it's a complicated problem, but maybe that was part of it. He just wanted to. He's got a good thing going there at the end of the day, hasn't he? So that's good.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. I think he's had problems in the past with people. Like I say, like when he told me about people getting flags and banners out and all the rest of it, they're not promoting him or the calf, them there to kind of use the calf as their promotion rather than the other way around kind of thing. But he was sound. He was bang on. He was sound with me. And like I say, afterwards I was like, "Oh, I'll tag you in it and this, that, and the other." And he was like, "Yeah, sound, mate." He says, "If you can give me your," what did he call it now? "Handle. Can you give me your handle?" I was like, "Well, what? You want your handle?" And I was like, "You mean my YouTube channel?" He was like, "Yeah, your handle." I was like, "Fucking don't know what you're on about, mate. I'll give him my YouTube channel, not a problem." But he's actually emailed me and asked for a cap. He says, "I like your logo. Can I have a cap?" I was like, "Yeah, mate." Fucking saying.
All right, get on.
35 quid.
Yeah. Take that, you bastard.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just a really good day out because the weather was kind to us. And like I say, and it was busy there, but it was too busy. And we didn't wait ages for food neither. We probably only waited 7 or 8 minutes for food, and the food would come out.
Most importantly, when it comes to food, I always like watching people's video, and I like to see a picture of it. This is really sad, but I like to see how much you get in for the money.
Yeah, well, that's what I've done.
And the quality of the sausages, or if it's a
the sausages
in the middle of it.
The sausages. me, Paul, and Joe all riding back saying how nice the food was, and it's like you had fried bread with it as well, but the fried bread was like oily fried bread. It was like dry fried bread. It wasn't like it wasn't oily at all. It was just, mate, it was just banging. If you've never been, you've got to try and get there, because like I say,
it was just a proper bloomer bread. That's what I want.
Yeah, but it's just really nice, mate. It's just proper cool place. But yeah, it was well worth the visit. Well worth the visit.
Yeah, it still ain't got anything up your end, have you, Graham? Is that right?
Nah, we don't have anywhere near the
strange.
It's just not a done thing. There's a couple of, there's 2 or 3 that are maybe biker ones, if you like, but not that many.
Do you think that's because, like, on the main routes or where everybody goes, you can't really stick a building there, can you? Because it's going to destroy the.
I don't know. It's
part of it.
When I see like a peaky doing videos and that, you all tend to ride to calves. Whereas in Scotland, we don't do that. Well, it's because there's hardly any, mind you, but we really don't do that much. We just, it's just not a done
strange
thing.
I mean, down here, we are absolutely inundated with them. And even biker calves that aren't really biker calves, they become biker calves because it's just a good stop-off point.
Yeah.
Whether it's on the moors or whatever, and, pull up and sit on the grass or whatever, it's really pretty good down here. I got a decent one that's my favorite one. It's a small place, but really popular again. Moto Velo, it's called, and it's 7 miles away from me. It's really nice. You can't describe a vibe, can you? But you go in there, and it's just lovely drinks. The people are nice. The staff are superb, and it's really good. And even my local, where they sell a lot of Japanese bikes, Honda and all that. That calf's nice as well. It's quite a big calf, I would describe it. But again, you can sit outside, got a nice vibe about it. And it's so good that even people that are not into bikes, they'll just go there just for, like the old ladies to go there for their coffee morning or whatever, Yeah. And it's just really nice.
Well, you've got the green welly up there, are you, Graham? That's what you got the
Well, you've got the Green Welly. Is that a biker's calf though? No, really. It's just a run of the mill
normal calf.
There's another one up there as well, across the road from there. There's one in Edinburgh I know of. There's one not that far from me. You've got St Mary's Loch down in the Dumfries area. You've got that one. There's no many. There will be more. I just don't know about them. But
what are you guys? Am I asking another question, Peaky? I don't know what you.
Go on,
ABR, what have you got any plans this year? I mean, I know that things are going to be a bit different this year. I get the impression they got the 2 buses that are going around for some reason, haven't they? So whether that means it's going to be bigger and more spread out is a bit of a slight concern, because I want to be parked right near it. There's nothing I can think of worse than having to get the frigging bus, because it's so far away. So, you guys looking forward to anything in particular that's different from previous years? Or
I wish they would release the maps just now so that groups can decide where they're going, because like Peaky's going to be there on Thursday, I take it, yeah. So by the time I get there, or when he's there, there's no signal, so he can't text us and say, right, we're at this section. So
good point. That's a very good point. Yeah.
Like I say, I think the biggest thing for me is like what you've just mentioned about these 2 buses, and I'm like, why they're putting on? They've never put 2 buses on in the past. Is that through? Is that because of? Is that because of, like you said, they've spread out, or is that because of the amount of people that's going to be there?
It's concerning. That is a concern of mine.
That was my other thought. It was, because they've gone up again. They've gone up again from last year, so it's increasing every single year. I just don't want them to get to spoiling it, because last year it was for me, it was probably ideal because it wasn't too busy. It was busy enough, but it wasn't too busy. You are standing at the bar for 20 minutes, half an hour. The bar, there's enough bars there that you can get to a bar. The food is it's expensive, but it's nice. You are standing queuing for food for absolutely ages. If you want to have a walk round, you can have a walk round. You ain't banging into people or fighting your way through crowds to go and have a look at something. Do you know what I mean? And and again with the talks, even if it's packed in the talk, you can still, you ain't
get in there.
You ain't squished in like this, stood in a row. You know what I mean? You can you can move about. You can walk in and out. You don't feel like you're a bean in a can kind of thing. So
my concern really is that it's going to be. I don't know what the numbers are. I think it was another 3,000 or 4,000 people this year, isn't it? Is that
3,000.
right? Does that ring a bell? Yeah. And I noticed that they, first of all, they got these buses, but also I've had a couple things which has popped up saying about you can now go paddle boarding and shit like that. I mean, it's almost like they're thinking, right, you can't get the stands, any more stands in, can you? Because all the brands are there anyway, so that's not going to expand. So it's almost like they're trying to digress into other things that we're not really interested in, are we? We're not going to go paddle boarding together, are we?
No. I mean, is it though at the point now where, because for insurance purposes, they can't up the trail, and they can only have so many on the trails. So are they trying to cater for the people who can't get on the trails by doing other stuff? You know what I mean? So again, I don't know, but it was for me last year was probably the best year for me last year, because it was, like I say, it was busy, but it wasn't busy enough that it was going to put me off. Where this year, another 3,000 people on top of what was there already.
See, for me, I would say that the year before was the better year. I think I can't remember the first year I went. I think it was 2022. I think was the first, maybe 21, maybe whatever. And it was when they had put the stage where it is now, where we know where it is now.
Yeah.
The first year there, because there just wasn't that many people. Last year it was not uncomfortable, but it was busier. And all I can think about is getting on the bikes, you know, in queues and stuff like that, because I enjoy doing that. So that's the way I see it. And if we got another 3,000, then it might be just over that edge now where it's too many. I think.
Yeah,
it might happen.
I think last year was for me with people wise, because like on that Saturday night, that bar area and where all the live acts are, it's packed there. It's absolutely. You'd say there's probably 90% of the people there that on that Saturday night. But you know, it's obviously it's really, really busy, but you can still get to stuff. You can still get to the bars. You can still get to the food. You know, you ain't stood in a crowd of people like it's holding your point. You know what I mean? You know, there's still areas where you can go, but again,
they did a brilliant job of getting those 200 bar staff last year, because the previous year you had to queue up a long time just to get a beer. Whereas last year we wasn't a problem at all. Was it 5 people deep max?
Yeah, and that was at the nights as well. During the day, you just rock up. There was never up till about
straight in.
I'd say up till about 8 o'clock. There's no queues at all. You can just meet. You mince up, man. Get whatever you need and walk off.
But
I
know a few people. First time ABR people were going up this year. Friends of mine. And it's going to be great to introduce them to it as well, because you guaranteed they're going to go, and they're going to be going forevermore now, aren't they? Like we are.
Yeah.
You know, so it's good that.
Yeah, but it's going to get to a point where, like, them early bird tickets are going to go instantly. As soon as they come out, they're going to be gone instantly.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And you just kind of feel like now that they've got to a point where it's for me this year is going to be a do or die year for them. It's either they're going to realise this is the maximum now. We can't really go any bigger, or they're going to get greedy and just keep pushing it, and then it's going to be literally be spoiled. It's just going to come over.
Subscribed.
Like there's too many people want a pinch of the pie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got your
an early bird ticket isn't going to be an early bird ticket anymore, is it?
No. It's just going to be. It's going to run to Thursday to Sunday. That's what it's going to be next.
It's going to be another day
next year. It's going to run from Thursday to Sunday.
And I'll tell you what I get slightly saddened about is that, you know, obviously there's some YouTubers up there that get on the stage and have a chat, this, that, and the other. But there's more of us now. You know, there's more YouTubers. It'd be nice to see some different faces on stage. Not, nothing snooty or nothing like, just anyone really. I'd
quite like. I actually spoke to the bloke last year, and I suggested this to him because he was actually talking to Missing and Fryer, and I walked past, and he was like, "How you doing?" I was like, "How you doing?" All right, yeah, sound. And then he was like, "Any ideas what you do?" I said, "I'd like to have like a bit of a couple of hours where you've got vloggers, YouTubers, stuff like that from all different walks of life who are doing." From Harley Davidsons to GS to adventure riders to road riders who just come up, and you can have a little 10-minute spiel on what you do as a channel, where you're doing it, what you do, what you like, what you don't like. And then, you know what I mean? Them people who are sitting there who you're never going to, your channel might not even reach, would be able to reach them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And they get to see the people. The festivals are about people, and I think that some of the best people are people like us, you know, and many other people in the side chat. And that's what I want to see. I want to see people that are on my level, our level, up there, knowing more about them, and I think that would be a real game changer for them. But
like I say, that's what I'd like. That's what I'd like to kind of have that, like. Just that, I don't know, like even a Saturday morning or like a I don't know, a Friday afternoon, a Saturday or whatever, just so that if you could put your name down on a list, and then what they'll do is you've got like 10-minute slots, for example.
Yeah.
So your slot is 12 till 12, and you can go up, sit down, and people can ask you questions, or there's somebody stood there asking generic questions that you can answer on your own. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's an easy thing to do. Yeah, if you got a decent host, then they can carry the conversation, and it wouldn't be 10 minutes. I think it would need to be.
I'll put my name down for that.
There you go.
But
yeah, previous experience on live. So yeah, any you could do it. Anyone could really.
That's
but
what I'd
you
like
need
to
half
see.
an hour, I would say. Really.
Yeah. Well,
Right, lads. I need to call it a night.
Yeah.
All right, well, we might as well. We've been on an hour 15, so we'll knock it on the head. So
right, I'll head off for now.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
okay. Cheers, Graham.
See you later.
Bye.
Awesome, mate. Catch you soon.
Yeah. So we will knock it on the head now. Now 15 minutes. So
first
one back. I don't think that ain't too bad. First one back. So
no, it's good. It's good chat, mate.
If you can help me, Stevie, I'm gonna roll from the top and just thank everybody in the solo chat. So if you see anybody I miss out, then let me know. So we've had Pecos Paul, Andy Arup, Agis Whisperer, who was on, John Pell, John McPhee, MT Belly, Buster ADV, Hamster Skin Jacket, Moto Crad, Biking Critter, Hamster Skin Jacket. That's quite funny, that is. That's quite funny, that is. Heavy 702, Craig and Lean, Andy JSA Tractor, let's keep Kyman Go, Rev Bomber also was here.
Andy,
Happy Old Git, Andy JSA Tractor. I don't know how do you pronounce that?
Ivasilis.
Ivasilis. You anyway. Thank you.
Wizzy Wes. You've seen Wizzy Wes? So it might be ahead of the game now. It might be on mine.
Thank you. Anyway, yeah. Fred. We're going to call him Fred now. Flapcap Rider. Wizzy Wes. Oh, Wizzy Wes, yeah. Norfolk Motos.
Motive Tour Island.
Moto Tour Island. Happy Old Git. Monkeywood Garage. Moto Tour Island. I don't know if you said that one already.
Learn a motorcycle software and gibbering.
Oh, yeah.
Gravy Davy.
Gravy Davy. We're just at the same point there. Gravy Davy. Todge 29 as well. And I reckon that is about everybody. I reckon that's about everybody. So if we did miss you, then I do apologise. But as usual, guys.
Thanks. I'll do it before. Thanks very much for coming on. Thanks, Peaky, for having me on. Listen to the podcast as well. That's really doing quite well again at the moment. So thanks for having me on, Peaky. Thanks for everyone watching. See you next time.
No problem. There's a couple literally just dropped in. So you got Des Miller, Chief Chips as well, who have been here as well. So thank you to you guys. Yeah. So again, lads, it's really nice to get people on we can just have a chat and have you guys in the side chat just asking questions, having your own little conversations, and joining us on a Wednesday night and just shooting the shit. So really, really do appreciate it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe how much it means to us for you guys just to sit here and take the time and the effort to be interacting with us. So
part of it.
Really, really do appreciate it, lads. So, yeah. So as usual, if you can all stay safe, keep your family safe, and all do one thing, which is smile. Look, Steve, look, inside he's absolutely bursting. Well,
I am, actually. Yeah. Thanks, thanks everyone.
No problem at all. So until the next time, that's me, the Peaky Boy Crowd, and I'll see you all soon. Take care, muckers.